Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma friends, so even though we practice this meditation, sitting ourselves in one place and closing our eyes, so whatever you practice with your mind, remember, it's going to be your life little by little, little by little. So, especially when it comes to today, that as Buddha is teaching mostly, that it is very difficult, we can get into the nutshell, the bottom line, or the real purpose of the Dharma. Why that? Because it is our own culture, tradition, methods, the outside layers become hindrance. So then it is yourself, always you have to remember. Even though we go with this everything outside, it's your responsibility to get into the bottom line, or get the real meaning, or the understanding the right purpose. So if I put an example it like this, if you want to drink cup of tea, and you think about the cup, and you think about that all other necessary things around it, and sometimes maybe you go to a place and order a cup of tea, your main purpose is drinking cup of tea. But mostly sometimes we put the attention to outside things. Maybe you get a nice cup and it has different very kind of royal design, and maybe you get a napkin, the fresh that kind of like uh, artwork in that napkin, or maybe you have some biscuits also around it. So the place is so beautiful, you become more aware about these things. But how about when you take the cup of that tea, and when you take a sip, if you are not happy with the tea, if that tea doesn't make you comfortable, what's the point that having that everything so beautiful? So the same thing with us also today. When it comes to the Dharma, you have beautiful Buddha statues, beautiful temples, and everything around us, so nice. And the Tripitaka in different methods. You can get the book, and you can get the CD, you can get the tabs, and you can get into pen drive. And it's all the beautiful things. We have to appreciate that. And when you go online, that anything that you can find related with the teachings. But when you close your eyes, if you don't recognize something just by yourself, what is the point that this outside everything? What is the point that you build? You have temples, huge Buddha statues, so very beautiful places, like a garden, kind of like a create heaven. What's the point? When you close your eyes, when you have a thought yourself, if you don't have the clarity within that inner yourself, forget about this all. So that is the basic point that you have to understand. And sometimes it's not a kind of like it is not a kind of radical thinking, but it's always come to a point when it, because that all this other everything, culture, traditions, it create culture, and that culture create boundaries. You cannot escape from that. It's the culture bound to time and the material things, and that all activities is a time bound, and by the time that thing, but the Dhamma itself timeless, akaliko. There is no time for that. There is no place for that. It is universal and timeless. So now you develop a method time bound to get into timeless something. See that how it is different. So completely we go in two different ways. The culture, tradition, and that things important, that things need for us. But at the same time, if it is bound by the time and bound by the divisions and bound by the traditions, and you cannot get into the bottom line. But if you able to get into the bottom line, that other things going to be adjust and settle down according to that. But ourselves is spending so much time to protect the tradition and protect the methods and these things, but still we not able to get into or the touch the bottom line or the real meaning of it, and then we lose the point. So that's why it is your responsibility. So if I give another analogy, so when it come to the teachings, why this meditation is kind of like the important thing. Of course, other things important. It like this. You find 100 Buddhas, and you find 100 Buddhas somehow. It is very difficult to do that. But you find alive 100 Buddhas. See, 100 Buddhas how? Even we know it's kind of like, that 28 Buddhas. How about if you find 100 Buddhas? So you find all the 100 Buddhas alive, and you invite to the whatever the place, wherever you are. And you that cultivate yourself or do all the farming, vegetable grow and rice, everything you grow yourself. And then you make a dana for the 100 Buddhas. And you offer it from, you cook yourself, you do the farming, and then you cook yourself, and then you offer from your own hand with the great respect and with the great faith, without greed, hatred, or the delusion, to all the 100 Buddhas. And you gain a lot of merits. But if you are able to get into one inhalation or one exhalation, and you deeply observe how the feelings change, sensation change, and formations change, and consciousness change. And if you able to recognize this process within the 5 aggregates, how within one breath, how these 5 aggregates change, that is more powerful than that 100 Buddhas that you get, the dana that you gave. You can go to sutras, and there are some sutras you can find if you want that the Buddha talk about this, the dana and the loving kindness meditation, and the power of the recognizing vipassana. And all the deities will appreciate when you give dana to 100 Buddhas. But if you are able to get into your own experience, if you are able to understand one inhalation, how the from form to feeling, sensation, formations, consciousness, and change and the process very clearly. And all these deities in heavens not bow, knee down in front of you. That much it is powerful. It's in scriptures. Why it becomes so powerful? And that is the 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 essence of the Buddha's teaching. You have to get into that. That is the bottom line. Remember that. Other everything we have to do that. But somehow try to get into that. Because the point is this. That is the moment that, as we know, that we have saying there's no pain, there's no uh, pain, no gain. So that means without any pain, there's no, you cannot get anything. So in conventional life, and you follow that. But when it comes to the vipassana level of this recognition, you know what is happening? No pain, all gain. You get everything, but no pain. So that is the beauty of that method. In conventional life, you have to pay a price to get something. But in the eternal level, if you're able to get into this art and no pain, but you gain all, how it is happening? This is how it is happening. So this is a problem, and this is solution. That is what in the conventional life. And always there is something, and we trying to recognize it from some place, and we trying to get into that. So the time, space, thoughts, this everything in there. That is the very nature of conventional life we call world. It's bound by time and space. So according to your space, according to your moment, and the point of view going to be different regarding whatever. It is even that scientifically also they know that whatever you see in front of this, your computer or your cell phone or whatever, then according to the position that you carry, what you see is going to be different. The difference means your total experience cannot get somebody else from somewhere. That should be exactly in your place. So like that, we have in life problems and solutions. And our struggle, our living means we always struggle in between this and moving here and there. Problem towards the solutions towards the problem. But when you get into the vipassana level of deeper observation, what is happening? As I mentioned, the observer and the object, when that two things become one, the observer also become what you observe. So the same thing. You have problems in life, and there are some solution exist somewhere. So then what is happening when how about you come closer, in the vipassana level. What is happening? This problem and solutions become one. That is what happened. Your problems and solutions all become one. How about that? Think about it and try to understand, because I cannot teach the kind of like by words that much, because if I try to go that way, I try to, it kind of like maybe you condition your mind. No, you have, I just can give example, that's it. You have solution somewhere, and that is what you, then you have problems, you struggling with this all. How about you come to a point your problems and solutions synchronized together. So in the Vipassana level, that is the total experience that you gain when it comes to the moment of recognition that what is this, the experience and the change. So and then the experience also become itself change. And that is where that yourself, not about others. Remember, within, because in the Vipassana, as I mentioned from the beginning, in the Vipassana, we experience from inward our own experience, from feelings to recognition, consciousness, awareness. So this is the inner mental experience. So in that experience, so what is happening? So whatever the emotions or the thought patterns, mental formations or the sanskara that come to arise us, and in that very moment, in that very place, we're not going to resist that anything. And you become non-violence related with your own thoughts. That is the beautiful experience that you can get, becoming non-violence with your own emotions, with your own thoughts. Why people become violent? That we talk about non-violence in the world, it is a very fancy word today. And people go and do march, and see people demonstrate, and they try to show it in different ways. It is good, but it never picks any problems outside. It's what happened that all that activities create accelerate the power of this outside current. So that's what we experience every day. So then yourself, how about that you deeply recognize the mechanism of the experience, the feelings, sensation, formations, and consciousness or cognition or the understanding. In that very level, in that process, you develop non-violence. And that non-violence is the most powerful, that non-violence, if you can practice, becoming non-violence within your own thoughts. No even any single thought. But to get into that, what you have to do, your thoughts and you both need to come to the point, synchronize. And that is where you become non-violence with the thoughts. It's kind of like a Cinderella path. It's kind of like a Cinderella story, but still, there is a possibility. If you able little by little, practice yourself. By practicing, you can gain into that. But you need certain understanding also regarding the path. That's why we talk like this. That's why trying to give you certain understanding regarding the path, but that doesn't mean, by hearing doesn't mean it's going to happen to you. Only thing, but by practice yourself little by little, there is a possibility you can get into that. So that is when you have a moment that you become non-violent regarding your own thoughts or regarding your own emotions or regarding your own, whatever the things happening in you. And with the clarity, if you're able to recognize the change, that is the best moment that you can experience as a human being in this very lifetime. It is possible. It is worthwhile to your whole this sacrifice. So that is the moment that you come to a point without any pain, you get all. So with that, I tell you a story. And there was a person, and he had a voyage. So in his boat, he traveling through the ocean. What happened? He get into this huge waves and tornado, and his boat destroyed. So somehow he get into a piece of wood and found a island in the middle of the ocean, and no man island. So he was appreciate himself, somehow he survived there. And then he start to go and walk here and there and try to survive himself. And while he, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and what happened, little by little he became more comfortable with the place. And when he go here and there, and he start to collect the little things and the dry woods. So then spending many days, somehow he able to make fire. So now he create a little hut himself, and in that hut he protect that fire and bringing all the dry woods and start to maintain the fire. And at the same time, while he going here and there, and he collected certain food and certain kind of uh, valuable things, whatever he thought he may can use it in the future. So now that little hut became his place. He became more comfortable with that. And then what happened one day? He went out, and when he come back, that whole hut got fire, and then they start to burn. And this person was so disappointed and cried, and blaming to all the the heavenly gods and all the believings, that he was so mad and angry. And he told himself, and I kept that I destroy my journey, and I came here and I just start a little bit to be comfortable and protect myself in this little hut. Now it also burn. So why this happened to me like this? What is the karma like this to punish me like this? So he start to become so unhappy. And somehow, and he got so tired and he sat down. The, and then he saw after a while, there was a ship come towards that island. And then he was so happy to see that after this all miserable things happened, and now something, to be happy himself. And then somehow this ship able to rescue him, took him back, and on the way he now get food and necessary treatment, and little by little he became more comfortable. And then he asked from captain, so why you do this for me? So why you found out that, why you come to me like this and rescue me? And then the captain told, while they used to travel in that path all the time, and while this time when they travel, and they saw a fire, smoke, and the captain was very familiar with the path, and he knew there is no way that the people are going to be then. But when they saw the smoke, they thought there is something. And then the captain told, okay, let's go and see what is this, because this path is very familiar. We go every month back and forth. So then they found this person and rescue him. See, sometimes you come to a point you lose everything, but to rescue yourself, you have to lose that. It going to shine, bring a sign. It going to indicate to the other side that what you need. Maybe from our point of view, we don't see that. So in day-to-day life, in conventional life, remember yourself, whatever happen, always keep your head up and never try to look down yourself. Never try to give up your hopes. So as conventional, ordinary people, we need that. So in day-to-day life, maybe you lose that or everything what you have, and maybe you think that is the end of your life. And maybe you blame to all the heavenly God or the karma and all the people, you curse to everybody around you and thinking you lose everything. And maybe that is the beginning of your next chapter. So without turning the page, we cannot go to the next chapter. Always remember, when the moment comes for you to change the page in your life of this book, and don't afraid, with the happy, with the clear mind, just move forward. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this all the good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhi dikayuko bhava. Ittavata ca amnehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.